Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman, and this video going out to Prof. Other explanations or other interpretations. Aussie CDA did a great job reading Campbell. That was excellent. Love how Campbell can boil down a topic in 2 or 3 pages what it would take some theologians volumes to do. So it's pretty amazing. And when we approach literature and the topic of hermeneutics, the multi-layered interpretation of literature and religious literature and myth and motifs, we find that the myth means something else to everybody. So it's more or less for the individual. And had it not been for Young and Joseph Campbell, I probably would have tossed all of it in disillusionment. Those 2 guys really helped me preserve the literature that I deeply love and appreciate. You say, Wayman, why is that? Because it tells me where I am at what point in my life, or where I am at what point in my troubles. And I have heroes of ages past who have taken the journey before me, and I can face the unknown a little bit better without being so naive and falling into despair a lot of the times that people do, and becoming disillusioned. I'm not saying it still doesn't happen, but it happens a lot less. So I guess that we need to more or less internalize these pieces of religious literature and figure out what it means for us and use what we can of it. And what we can't use, we save, because you never know when you might need to go back to it or discover something new about it where it might be helpful for you. So some of the interpretations of religious literature is very annoying because it's for maybe a cultural, political, economic, personal, or an aggressive, selfish gains that they use it for, propaganda, such things to hold people back, hold people down, to make people comply. But there's also the other side that liberates people, that individualizes other people, and that tears them from the unconscious self and makes them conscious, which is what the Apostle Paul did. Now, it's interesting. This is not a video in any way condoning Christian views or the views of the Apostle Paul. This is just talking about it. And many times we can be born again and again and again and again through this self-discovery and self-realization, where the old passes away and we take off the old robe, tattered and torn, and put on the new, which is pretty interesting. So I was reading through Paul when I was doing textual criticism on Paul. I got the Cambridge Companion to Paul, which is a really good book. And in that book, it paired up Paul's ideas with a lot of philosophical ideas of philosophy from Plato, and Greek philosophy and Roman philosophy, which was excellent. So what I happened to realize, though, was Paul was a Greco-Roman Jew, deeply influenced by those cultures. And I came to realize that Paul, seeing Christ as the highest form of Torah that could be lived on the earth. I'm not condoning this view, but this is what it seems to me that the Apostle Paul was saying, that Jesus was the perfect Torah walking on earth because he was in full compliance and he was the highest form of that law. And Paul believed in a resurrection, and because he believed Christ resurrected and was the first fruits of that resurrection, the resurrection for everybody else should be right around the corner. So even back in Judaism, back in Hebrew, maybe around the Babylonian period, when some of the literature was being put together, just pre-Babylonian, Babylonian, especially in the two accounts of the creation story. Even the word Adam implies it to be taken metaphorically because of the word play. And this is what's interesting in Hebrew. Adam could mean reddish, or it could mean dirt, or it could mean humankind, or it could mean the name of the man, Adam. So that's what was interesting. So also in the literature, where after Adam is removed from this paradise state and pushed out and becomes conscious, he is told that because he has eaten and knows opposites, he will die death. Mut temut. In religious literature, in the English translation, it'll sometimes translate it as "you will surely die," but in Hebrew it's "mut temut," you will die death, which is more beautiful and more interesting than "you will surely die," or underscoring it, because you will die a death. And becoming yourself, becoming conscious through the process of individuation, you die a death. You die many deaths over your life, and through discovery, you're reborn. Through realization, you're reborn, and you become a new person, which I think sometimes the Christian idea of it tries to underscore, but they have a hard time with it because they don't always connect it to the unconscious becoming conscious. So I want to read a section out of Man and His Symbols by Carl Jung. Heavily influenced by Christianity, and he sounds like a Christian theologian at times, but he makes some really good points. This is on page 170, and I'm going to read parts of this where he talks about the importance of myth. In myths, one finds that magic or talisman can cure the misfortune of the king or his country always proves to be something very special. In one tale, a white blackbird, or a fish that carries a golden ring in its gills, is needed to restore the king's health. In another, the king wants the water of life, the 3 golden hairs from the head of the devil, a woman's golden plate, and afterwards, naturally, the owner of the plate, P-L-A-I-T. Whatever it is, the thing that can drive away the evil is always unique and hard to find. It is exactly the same in the initial crisis in the life of an individual. One is seeking something that is impossible to find, or about which nothing is known. In such moments, all well-meant, sensible advice is completely useless. Advice that urges one to try to be responsible, to take a holiday, or to work harder, or to have more or less human contact, or take up a hobby. None of that helps, or at best only rarely. There is only one thing that seems to work. That is to turn directly towards the approaching darkness, without prejudice and total naivety, N-A-I-V-E-L-Y, and to try to find out what its secret aim is, and to find out what it wants from you. So this would be, the unconscious. The hidden purpose of the ongoing darkness is generally something so unusual, so unique, and unexpected that, as a rule, one can find out what it is only by means of dreams, fantasies, welling up from the unconscious. If one focuses attention on the unconscious without rash assumptions or emotional rejection, it often breaks through in a flow of helpful symbolic images. But not always. Sometimes it first offers a series of painful realizations of what is wrong with oneself and one's conscious attitudes. Then one must gain the process by swallowing all sorts of bitter truths. So that's pretty interesting. And a lot of times that's what happens in these beautiful, beautiful myths and pieces of literature. So hopefully that was interesting. Take care. Hopefully I did a good job. Not too good with big words there, so sorry about the screw-up reading. But be well, and remember, if everybody's thinking alike, then somebody isn't thinking.